to the Hostel. I'm Kevin Owens, joined by Jason Maile. Jason is a financial advisor with Jacobi Wealth Management. Jason is here to talk to our overseas athletes about handling your wealth, handling the financial aspects of it, because it is a huge issue that a lot of people don't really think about, how you have to handle and manage your wealth. When you are a professional basketball player, especially overseas, there's so many programs set up for you in America with the NBA. There's not as much overseas, and we're trying to change that. And we're going to talk to Jason today about his experience. Now, Jason also played overseas basketball. So, Jason, the first question I have for you, take us through your experience playing overseas basketball, where you obviously were a successful player in college and what you took your career overseas.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Kevin. But I'm glad to be here. I did play professionally overseas for 6 years. I played 3 years in Spain, 2 in Germany, and 1 in Italy. And then I also played like a semi-pro team in Bismarck, North Dakota, of all places, in hopes to get, before I went overseas, in hopes to get that call up to the NBA. But didn't work out for me. And so, I had a pretty good career and experience going overseas and meeting some great people, playing in some great cities, and it was truly just a great experience. But as you mentioned, there are challenges with managing your money, especially just getting out of college, understanding the ways to go about it. But with that being said, I was over there for 6 years.
That's incredible. And it's funny how you say it's always the smaller, the American small cities that you get. I was in Roanoke, Virginia. People don't even know where that is. There was like a show I was watching not too long, and they were like, it took place in Roanoke. And I've never been more excited. I was like, I lived there. It's like so ridiculous to think that, such a small city would have this great basketball, but that's where a lot of those good American minor league teams are.
Yeah.
So let's get into why does a professional athlete need a financial advisor?
I look at it, we are the coach, right? So, trying to equate this to, professional athletes, you have a coach of a team. And I consider the financial advisor the coach of your financial team of your household. And so you have to be able to develop a plan. A lot of times plans fail because you don't have a plan at all, or not a good one. And so our goal is to, be able to look at one's financial situation, look how they're currently situated, where they want to go, and then put that plan together, map a plan out, just like a coach would with a game plan as you go and, meet a team or, a special defense or something like that.
It is really, it's definitely, I like the coaching aspect, because as a professional athlete, I feel like it's tuned into your brain to listen to a coach. So when you have a coach, it's like from high school to college to pro, you're always following that coach and listening to that advice, even if there's times when you're like, but it's always great. And I like that kind of analogy to comparing, like you're continuing to coach these guys and these people through these financial situations. I think that's great. And when you talk about, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. We just want to know their goals, objectives, risk tolerance, time horizon. So just kind of putting that all together is a big part of the financial plan.
Well, it's great. And you kind of look at like, what are the major differences you see between the approach to financial planning for a general population compared to a professional athlete? Do you handle that differently? Is there a difference between the two?
I can't say we handle it differently. There's a financial planning process, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete or if you're not. We're trained to go through the process, and whether it's professional or not, it doesn't change. So we have to understand the client's personal and financial circumstances. We have to identify and select the goals. We have to analyze the current action plan and situation, and develop the recommendations, present the recommendations to the professional athlete, or just a client in general, and we have to monitor that and check the progress of it. So that doesn't change whether you're a professional athlete or not. There's still the steps that you have to go through to be able to put the correct plan in place and make sure that whether it's a client that's a professional athlete or not, we're going to have a plan to meet their objectives.
Well, it's funny because I always think about professional athletes. Like, pro athletes always want to be in the big craze. They always want to be that first one. They're in the public eye. So when you go into this cryptocurrency and these NFTs and things like that, a lot of you see it on Twitter. Like, guys are changing their profile picture to their NFT, and they're always talking about their cryptocurrencies and things like that. What general advice would you give to athletes who are considering joining this craze of this newfound financial craze?
The advice would be to be careful. So there's so much volatility right now in that space. I mean, you're up, up 20, 30% and down 20, 30%. And so, the biggest advice I just give to clients, just, be careful, number one. Number two, be diversified. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And so whether it's all cryptocurrency or all stocks or all bonds or all whatever, you want to have diversification in mind. And you want to typically invest in things that you know and understand. And, I could, you pose that question to people, hey, do you understand how these cryptocurrencies work? And, and I'm sure a lot of people do not, and a lot of professionals don't either. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs, obviously I have a broad understanding of it, but I would just say, just be careful and be diversified. And I think that's the best approach. I'm not saying to do it or not to do. I'm saying, just watch it, and that could be cryptocurrency or just any investment in general.
Yeah, I definitely like that. You kind of stick with what you know. There is so much just out there, and you never know. I mean, even as a business owner, there's so many people who write me and they're just like, hey, we can help you do this. And I'm like, you're just constantly worried about scams. And that's what scares me the most about starting a business in this market, in this day and age, where there's so many people who would leech on and try to, take things from you because you're a vulnerable target. And I think as a pro athlete, that's something, like you said, you definitely have to be cautious of. So when you deal with pro athletes, is it difficult telling, a younger guy or girl who has a lot of money, how to handle their money? Do you find that to be a difficult thing? I think that's one thing we always talk about, is telling someone who's a young athlete, hey, you have to be smart with your money. It's always a risk because how they're going to interpret that now, knowing that this is the first time they have this, and you'd be like, well, you have to be smart with it. And they're like, just
right. Yeah. It's not hard because that's what I do for a living, right? That's my job. If I wasn't telling them, what to do, then I'm not doing my job. And so I feel it's my duty to, tell them to be responsible, but also coming up with a plan as well. That's the biggest thing. And that way, if you have the plan in place, you will be responsible. If they don't, if someone doesn't like that, I can't control that, whether it's a professional athlete or not. I can only make recommendations that's in their best interest based on, kind of the steps I described earlier that we go through. And it's not like, hey, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. These are the options, these are the risks. Number one is, what are the risks? And I want to make sure that they completely understand that, whether you choose option A, B, or C, what are the risks associated with that? And we work together on making, hopefully, smart decisions for that money. So I don't have a problem telling anyone to be responsible with their money. I mean, that's what they're paying me to do.
So, for our professional athletes, for our overseas girls and guys who are looking into the financial advising aspect, what questions do they need to ask a financial advisor? What are the questions that you think they need to ask to make the most informed and responsible decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I think several probably is number one. Are you a fiduciary? Do you have, as that advisor you're working with, do they have your best interests at heart, right? What are your qualifications? In my case, I'm a CFP, certified financial planner. There's other qualifications out there as well that could be beneficial, right? How does the advisor get paid? Are they receiving a fee for assets under management? Is it commission based? That's important to know the fee that you're paying, and that's not just it's all in. What's it all in? I think transparency is key, and if you don't have someone that's telling you that, then that's a problem. How will the relationship work? So as we go through the process, we start working together. When are we having meetings? Are we having meetings on a quarterly basis, semi-annual basis, annual basis? Are they going to be in person? Are they going to be Zoom calls? Things like that are important. Another thing is investment philosophy. So what is the advisor's investment philosophy? Are they managing those assets in-house? Are they outsourcing it? What are they buying? Why are they buying it? I think that's a big deal. And then another big question would probably be, who's the custodian of those assets? Where are those assets being held? Are they holding it, at their, in a lockbox, in their backyard, or do they work with a reputable custodian and have a good platform? You want to know where your money is going to be held at, and that it's secure and safe, and so I think that's obviously a big deal as well. So those are the main questions I think professional athletes and just anyone, an investor in general, they want to ask their professional.
Jason, this has been awesome. We like these little quick hitters where we're able to get some of our overseas athletes some insight to things that they're going to need to know for their futures. And this is great with their financial futures because it's such an important part, because some overseas athletes make a ton of money, some don't. And I think it's important to have someone coach you through this situation as you go on. So Jason, I really appreciate you joining us today and talking a little bit about financial security and your future.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you having me, and I love the fact that you're putting these together because when I was playing, this format wasn't really available, and the fact that you're doing that and helping those professional athletes out there, I think is great. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Jason.
You bet. All right.
Jason Maile, I appreciate you coming on. Enjoy.
All right, thank you.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA/SIPC. Investment advice offered through Jacobi Capital Management LLC, a registered investment advisor. Jacobi Wealth Management LLC and Jacobi Wealth Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.